Anyway, he ended up calling me 3 times, 3 days in a row, trying to convince me to do this. Remember, I gained a relationship with this guy, and he had a trust with me. And so what happened on the 3rd day, he said he will pay me X amount of dollars, and he had the 3 cars along the border ready for me to pick up. Now, I didn't care about the 3 cars along the border, but the X amount of dollars that he was going to pay me sparked my interest. And I told him I would be there tomorrow. Okay? So that was the motivating factor. Now remember, I didn't have a company. Okay? I was trying that golf thing. We just moved to Utah. I didn't have any non-compete, non-disclosure agreements or anything like that. The other company had been sold. In fact, I had a very good relationship with the new owners. And this was a little bit later from that period of time. So we took those first 3 cars from this client. And an interesting note, too, is when I got down to meet with this client, we're signing the agreements, and I used company ABC on the agreement. And he says, well, what's the name of your company? I said, I don't have a company. And he says, well, we can't sign a contract with no company. And he said, why don't we call it International Amoring Corporation? And so my first client named this company, okay, right there as we were signing the agreements. And I went back, and I remember on the plane flight back thinking about this, and I guess I thought about it a little bit on the way down, and I was writing notes, I was drawing pictures, I was doing this, all these type of things on that flight on the way back. Here I had 3 cars now, had no employees, I had no company, and I had made an obligation with this guy. So it was kind of an accidental happening. Now, I wasn't really necessarily planning on doing this. There's one thing about the armored car business is it's an international business, and part of it being international is you fly all around the world. And that's fun the first 1.5 times you do it. Okay, but when you put 250,000, 300,000 miles a year, it gets old. Okay, and that was what I was trying to lean against. So on that trip home, I decided that we were going to do things different than the other 5 or 6 manufacturers of these cars in the world. I wanted to differentiate myself from everybody else. And that's when I set those 3 goals, okay, that I talked about earlier. First, I wanted to armor the entire passenger compartment.